What about the culture like in St. Augustine? Like what is it? What's the general like feel?
We've got a really cool place to live, a lot of great value.
All right, so today we're talking about the pros and cons of living in St. Augustine, and today we have Vince, and he is going to tell us all about this. Vince, go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're originally from.
Hey there, I am Vince Fattizzi, and real estate agent here in town with Coldwell Banker Premier Properties in St. Augustine, Florida. Originally from the New York City metro area. I'm born and raised, by the way, in New York City. So I still love my Yankees,
Yes.
and so who aren't doing so well this year. But yeah, we've been here for a long time now. But like I said, just 20 plus years, and absolutely love it. It's a wonderful place to live. We thought for many years about moving to Florida, and glad we picked this area and not the midsection and the south area, south part of Florida, which is really quite busy, quite hot, quite everything compared to where we are here. This is great.
Oh, sweet. So this is perfect. So the first number one is the location. So yeah, talk about the location of like exactly. So we'll pull it up on the map where it is and stuff people can see.
Sure.
But yeah, tell us more about this.
So we're at the very tippy top of Florida, if you want to call it that. The state is extremely long, over 400 miles from top to bottom, closer to 500 probably. And I will tell you that the climate difference between north to south is really quite incredible. Where we get maybe 2 to 3 months of that hot and humid weather, we're kind of sort of in the middle of it now that we're approaching July, August. We don't deal with what South Florida and the mid part of Florida deals with, which is hot and hot. It's brutal, really. Humidity is very difficult sometimes. In the southern part of Florida, many of the towns down there almost clear out because it's just so overwhelming, and people leave and go to they've got homes that they still have kept in the north or in the west or in the mountains or elsewhere in the U.S. that they can get out of Florida down there. We don't do that here. I mean, a couple of people that I know, leave for the summertime, but this is not terrible at all.
Which is like totally like a myth, I think, because I think of Florida, I think of humid, but in your area, you're saying it's not.
Not at all, because I'll give you an example. Come like we're like I'm saying, we're just approaching the summertime now. So mid-September, October, November, December, as we get toward the holidays, it's 75, sunny, no humidity, lovely weather. Might be 50s, 60s in the morning when you wake up, and it might be 75, 80 when by midday, and it's lovely, really nice. And that's the same for the spring. So getting like March, April, May. Mm-hmm. By mid-June, we start getting into some of the humid type weather. Our winter here can be dang chilly. I mean, we have like, and I'm talking January, February, that time frame. We can get into the 30s overnight, really? Some 40s. Some days it's not higher than 55 or 60, mm-hmm. Which doesn't sound cold, but that morning chill, we put the heat on here, believe it or not, mm-hmm. To warm our homes over, from overnight and that kind of thing. So we have a very nice climate. It's really, and we do, believe it or not, get a teensy bit of the leaf changing on the trees. Okay. Not like the New England that everybody's or the mountains and all of that, sure. But we do get some color changes on the, because mm-hmm. we're not all palm trees here. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of elm and maple. It's a very different pine, lots of pine trees.
Yeah, and your background kind of like displays some of that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you mentioned how it's driving distance, like the freeway. We're going to show that on the map too. Like it's, if you want to go like location wise, you guys are in a good spot.
We're very close to I-95, which obviously is the main artery from north to south in the United States, right? Mm-hmm. And so within 15 minutes, you can be on 95, I think, from pretty much anywhere in St. Augustine. and go north or south, whichever you prefer. But for a lot of folks who do want to retain a property up north or don't want to lose full connection with their family, friends, or whatever, if they move here, they can get back to wherever they came from within a couple of days' drive. They don't even have to get on a plane. Which in today's day and age, with all of the security and all the other, business,
Yes.
not a lot of folks like to fly anymore. So it's not a terrible drive. A couple of days, you can be wherever you want to be.
Yeah.
Up north.
No, that's great. That's great. Dive into the economics for us. So we were talking how dive into this.
So we are probably 45 miles south of Jacksonville, which is one of the 4 major business hubs in Florida. So if you're thinking Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, without question, Tampa and Miami are probably the 2 largest business centers. Orlando, everybody thinks of Disney right away. Yes, it's true. Yes. Mickey does live there, but there's a lot of other business that goes on in Orlando, not related to tourist stuff. But that is the main. I would think that's probably the main thing there. But we're close to Jacksonville, which has kind of a really big, varying demographic of business, banking, finance, medicine, and military. We have in Jacksonville 2 absolutely titanic, probably the wrong word, but gigantic. Let's do that.
Yes.
Navy bases here. One is an aircraft base, meaning like a naval air station with the jets and all of that, and then that's on the St. Johns River side of St. Johns County, across the river. And then Mayport, which is a ship center for those gigantic Navy ships that you've seen sailing in pictures and whatever. Those 2 bases alone support an incredible number of jobs, because a lot of the jobs that are created in and around those bases come from the fact that they're there, and they're always populated with, military coming and going, families coming and going. And then Jacksonville itself, like I was saying, business, banking, finance, medicine. We have one of the only 3 Mayo clinics on the planet is in Jacksonville, which is Mayo is pretty specialized medicine. And people come from all over the world to come to that hospital here.
Oh, really?
But then there's all kinds of other specialty hospitals and that children's hospitals. So there's lots of job opportunities in Jacksonville because it's still doing very well.
Yeah. Do people typically, you can commute maybe from St. Augustine to Jacksonville, rather easy?
Very much so. I would say from south to north, to go from St. Johns County into Jacksonville, probably 35 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour-ish, depending on if it's way over in Mayport to go to that naval base or Jack's Naval Air Station. That might be closer to an hour, but it's still not a terrible commute. We don't have traffic like a lot of the major city hubs have.
Yeah.
Traffic, is all stalled trying to get into that doesn't happen here. We get a little bit of a slowdown, but it's not the gigantic traffic issues that a lot of the big cities deal with.
Yeah. And
so because of that, because of the attraction of working in Jacksonville, St. Johns County has kind of become one of the big bedroom communities, so to speak, to support, because work is supported in Jacksonville. Well, because the school system in St. Johns County is so highly ranked, number 1, by the way, in the state of Florida, 67 counties, number 1 for 15 plus years. The families that are moving here with children of school age want to have their children here in St. Johns County in the public schools and commute to Jacksonville. Now, last year, with the COVID business, with so many people working from home, it wasn't much of a commute to Jacksonville anymore. Now, I think that's changing back somewhat. But I have to tell you, I've met a lot of customers of mine, real estate wise, and customers that I know that have worked from home, and they're like, I don't want to go back to the office. I like working from home, you know. And the children are back in school here. All of them are back to school. Public schools have been open for months and months now. So it's a really good place to live, quite frankly. It's the climate is great, as we talked about. Business is good. School system is terrific.
Yeah, and you were mentioning how like the schools are very well funded in the area too.
Well, years ago, when we were talking earlier, the school system got a half cent tax increase on the referendum for sales tax, not income. We have no income tax.
Yes.
None in the state of Florida, not just here.
Woo!
Yeah,
That's
amen.
Good. That's
a
good.
lot of people are very happy about that. That's one of the reasons why the population is moving in droves here. That half cent sales tax increase took us from 6 to 6.5%. But that half penny has been dedicated exclusively only to building construction for the schools. So they can't use it for bonuses. They can't use it for salaries. They can't use it for administrative anything. It's only for acquiring land and building schools or expanding schools. Some schools, I mean, they're not going to close schools to build another one, but sometimes they need to expand what they have. And so that half cent, because if you think about it, we're a pretty touristy kind of a town, we collect a load of sales tax, especially the downtown historic district, the hotels, all of that, shopping, just going to the stores. That half cent has provided millions of dollars to the school system to build pretty much whatever they need. So there's no overcrowding in the schools at all. It's been a godsend because the population here has increased considerably over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And they've been able to keep up with it.
That's good. What about the culture, like in St. Augustine? Like, what is it? What's the general like feel for the city?
Laid back.
Ooh, love it.
We're not a busy place in St. Augustine, especially because of the phenomenal and historic downtown district. The actual city of St. Augustine sits on a bayfront. It's world famous. People know about it all over the globe and come here from all over the globe because of it's very much like an old European town. And I think people who live here and work here, when you go downtown, you become like you're on vacation. Our beaches are sensational. We talked about that earlier. Have been ranked, top 10, top 25 beaches in America. People love to spend the weekend, go to the beach every day, both days, Saturday, Sunday. This weekend, it's a 3-day weekend, so they'll be there 3 days in a row. It's a cool place to live because it's really, we don't have here in St. Augustine the tall buildings and the office jobs and all of that business that Jacksonville has. We have a lot of service industry positions. So food, dining, hotel, that kind of thing. And all the services that support the tourist business. But we're not a tourist town. We're not supported by just tourists. It's kind of a neat blend of really everything because people who want to work in Jacksonville are close enough to do that.
Right.
Business, banking, finance, medicine. Yeah. And then the rest of it is St. Augustine. So when I say laid back, I'm not kidding. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool. And I think it sounds like a really healthy blend for the economy. Like you're not just dependent on one thing, which is a good thing. One of my personal favorites, you said it's a pet-friendly area or kind of a town.
We keep getting all these top 10 awards, which I think are great. And I don't know if anybody actually pays attention to them, but if anyone knows Chewy.com, where a lot of people get their pet supplies and pet food and whatever else, just named us as one of the top 10 best dog-friendly vacation destinations for this year, 2021. And it's true. You see, you know what? People travel all the time with their dogs. Think about it, really. Yeah. They come. A lot of people don't want to travel without their pets anymore. They don't want to put them in a boarding and they're in a kennel and they're in a cage and they take their dogs with them. So I'm talking about dogs, but pet friendly. I guess that includes. Well, no, this was dog friendly. Best dog friendly vacation destination. So we're only talking about doggies here.
But the dogs
even
are
the hotels here.
Oh, good. The
have
hotels
opened up the doors to dogs and pets because they know people are coming with pets and they don't want to lose that business.
Wow, that is that's surprising actually. That's really cool. The dogs are typically part of the family and the cats can kind of stay home. They don't mind, but
the cats are happy to stay home. Leave me alone. Just clean the cat box, leave me food and water, and I'm good.
Yes, those the cats. But the cats or the dogs are like they miss you. Yeah. Lastly, one of the pros is the affordability right now, which is talk about that.
Well, from a housing affordability standpoint, we're probably still one of the best buys in town. I got to tell you, no kidding. And when I say in town, I'm talking generally in the collective area. If you're anyone thinking about coming to Florida, please give us a shot. Take a look here and see what you think. You can get a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,500 square foot, all on one level home, which is nicely decorated, updated, upgraded, whatever, the HGTV homes that everybody's watching all the time, and probably get it for under $400,000. That's unbelievable.
And it's a beach city.
And get to the beach in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on where you're located. This downtown historic district, which has some of the greatest restaurants in the South. Southern, what was it? Which is one of the magazines, I can't remember. Named us one of the top whatever foodie cities in the South, because of all of our restaurants that are all incredible, get incredible reviews. You can check these out on TripAdvisor. Just go top 10, or top 20 restaurants to eat in St. Augustine, and you'll see 5 diamonds, 4.5 diamonds. It's just an incredible place when you put it all together.
That's so cool.
It wasn't like this, I don't think, when we arrived 20 plus years ago, but has evolved into this wonderful place. And people are coming in droves. We have no state income tax. And that is a huge amount of money. Our real estate taxes here are maybe $3,000, $4,000, could be $5,000 depending on the purchase price, but $3,000 to $4,000 per year. That's when people are leaving states where their taxes are $15,000. That's just the real estate taxes. And they haven't had kids in the school system in 20 years. They've been paying these taxes every year, but what are they supporting when you think about it? So we've got a really cool place to live, a lot of great value. Housing here is still very affordable. Plenty of jobs.
Now is a good time. And
a great climate. People we talked about this earlier, but people are concerned, well, what about the hurricanes in Florida? And coincidentally, by the way, we're watching one even as we're sitting here, but we don't expect this is going to cause any kind of chaos. But we are one of the safest regarding areas for the hurricane. But hurricane zone is not here. It's South Florida.
Yes, and we'll throw up a map for that, so you guys can get a visual on that, of how that actually looks for hurricanes that hit Florida. You guys are safe. Pretty much.
No one can predict Mother Nature. We don't know.
Yes.
But it's certainly we talked about that strike map earlier, where the number of hurricanes that have hit different parts of Florida. The south end of Florida is so marked up with crosses you can't see the white part of the map anymore. It's all red because they've had so many. They're so far down into that, between the Caribbean on one side and the Gulf on the other. It's the breeding place for these dang storms.
And so let's get into the cons. So we are moving into the cons. So we talked about all the great things.
So I can't say anything good anymore, and I'm going to talk about all the negative. Let's see. We have one negative.
So we're on a con is we were talking about the weather. So and as we show that map, yes, you guys have gotten a couple of hurricanes, but it doesn't look like anything compared to the rest of Florida, which is like, yeah,
No. So I mean, it's there, and that may be a con for some folks, I guess. You know, why would I want to move there when I can move inland, you know, and be away from the, I don't know. That may be a con. One of the things that we've noticed here lately is that as we're getting more populated, obviously the stores have more people in them.
Mm-hmm.
The roads have more cars on them, and that's sometimes getting a little difficult. But we don't have a rush hour in St. Augustine like you might have where you are.
Yes.
Where, you know, it's, or Atlanta, or there are cars, and it's a little bit slower than normal, but you know, it's not terrible. But certainly there are more cars on the road. More population here.
People are hearing about it.
Well, they're hearing about it, and they're found out, and then they're telling other people about it, and so it's our tourist season. Not our tourist season, I should put it that way. Our snowbird season, where people leave their winter homes and have come to St. Augustine forever. Some of them decades. But they've rented the same place over and over and over again. They could have just bought a house here by now, with all the money they've spent. But they love coming here, and that compounds the traffic issues, because now we have thousands of people that are here for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever, and that typically starts right after Thanksgiving and goes through April, May. And that gets a little touchy, you know, feely, because it's you know, again, it's population and cars.
Sure.
Cons may be people coming to Florida, they don't want that cold weather that we get because we're so far north. We do get, like I said, we can get into the 30s and 40s overnight here, whereas South Florida never sees that. You know, so if you want warm all the time, even when you're under the covers in bed, this is probably not where you want to be, because I can say from January, February, part of March, we can get pretty darn cold here in the morning.
Yeah. You get that, or as I would say, like that California winter where it's like, you know, it's like, it gets cold, but it's not like, it's not gonna, it doesn't snow. Yeah.
It doesn't snow, and we don't get any hard freezes here.
Yeah.
But if you need to get up and walk your dog in the morning and it's 35 degrees outside with the wind blowing, that feels a little bit like winter. But by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it might be 60, 65 degrees. Not bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's a pretty good winter.
Yeah. And then you guys, and you get heavy rain and stuff like that, like heavy rain, you were saying?
We do. Again, with these tropical things that come by, and in this time of the season, from June to September, from middle of June to middle of September, so that 90-day window, you can almost set your clocks by the storms that come through every afternoon, because the humidity builds up with the sunshine, the clouds form, lightning, thunder, downpours, and then by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that's done, and it's humid. But the sun is back out again, so we don't get those long, dreary, cloudy, gray days, you know, multiple days in a row. Sun's up in the morning, cloudy and wet in the afternoon, sun's out again, you know, by the late afternoon, and it's steamy, but that's just the summertime.
Yeah. And on that, like, as summertime, like, people, you know, think of Florida, sometimes they think of bugs and stuff. Like, what is that? So as a con, like, what does that look like?
I would say certainly the mosquito population is more prevalent in the steamier months, that mid-June to mid-September timeline. Once that stops, and of course we've got ways to protect ourselves and prevent any kind of issues about people, mosquito-borne diseases and all that. We don't have any of that issue, but certainly they're out there, and once that weather changes, they're gone. That cold weather that I just talked about, you don't see a single mosquito in the air. They don't survive for that.
Yeah. So it's a seasonal kind of a thing, like the
very
bugs,
seasonal, as opposed to, again, South Florida. They're dealing with it a lot because it's warm and humid all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, That's kind of cool. Like, yeah, because I know some people get eaten alive. It just depends on the person. I never do. I eat a lot of onions and garlic, so I guess they hate me. But I don't know. I'm like, I just tell my friends, just constantly eat onions.
It's an all-natural repellent. Works very well
for everyone, though. But even on humans, no. And let's dive into the airport. So the like, if we were traveling internationally, like, what's the deal?
We get a lot of requests for that. Actually, it's funny that you asked that earlier. We do get folks that that's part of their business model is they travel for work, whatever. The Jacksonville International Airport is probably an hour and 15-ish away, and it's a straight shot up I-95, so it's a relatively fast trip to get there. You can get anywhere from Jacksonville. It may not be within the U.S. There are direct flights. They say they're an international airport, but I believe it's predominantly, if you're planning to go to Europe, you're not going from Jacksonville to Europe. You'd probably want to go out of Orlando or Jacksonville, fly to Miami or New York, and then connect to an international, really truly international flight. But the international piece of it is, Jacksonville can get you to the islands, can get you to Bermuda, can get you to South America.
It's more like down south, like, because that's technically international. Yeah.
I don't. You wouldn't get on a plane and go 7 hours across the Atlantic out of Jacksonville. That wouldn't happen.
Right. To go to London or something.
But you can get to the airports that you need to through Jacksonville.
Right.
So, but it's a modern airport, very nicely done. Not a lot of traffic. You can park your car there. Holy cow! Actually get in and out. It's cool.
That's nice. I'm not familiar with that. LAX is just a mess, but it's getting better.
It's like LaGuardia in New York. It's just been under construction forever. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on, and they keep promising that it'll be finished one day, but we may not be here when that happens.
Oh man. Okay. And then one of the last things we have on the con list is the sports team. So no major sports nearby. Tell us more about this.
The only major sports team that is in this vicinity would be the Jacksonville NFL Jaguars, the National Football League. They arrived in '95, I guess. They've been here for quite some time. I think one of the youngest NFL franchises still in the National Football League. And they're okay. They've had their time. Mediocre would be a good description. They just got to. We're in 2021, so we just finished the 2020 season. 2017, they were in the AFC Championship game, and they've not been very good since then.
Got it.
But they go up and down. But that's the only major sports team that we have. We do have in Jacksonville a AAA baseball club, which is the last stop for the players before they go on to the professional Major League Baseball. And I believe they're connected to the Miami Marlins. Okay. So that's a hoot. Go out there, and it's a full-blown ballpark. With center field's like 415 feet away, just like you're in a major stadium, but it only holds like maybe 10 or 15,000 people. Okay. So it's kind of a cool place to go watch a ball game, And these guys are almost there. They're almost ready to go up to the big leagues. So that's cool. We do have a Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which in Jacksonville, again, this is not in St. Augustine. I don't believe they have any major sports there, although they've talked about getting an NBA team there, which would make sense, I guess. There's some professional ice hockey and that, but it's not the NHL. So we don't have a major sports presence. College, whole different story.
Oh, let's go.
Whole different story.
Tell us more about that.
You may be familiar with the name, the Gator Bowl. The Gator Bowl's been played forever in Jacksonville, and it's always been, a major draw for the college football teams that play there. There's, Georgia and Florida, University of Florida, University of Georgia, have played head to head forever, every year, and that's always a big a big game, but this is this is Division One, national collegiate, players. I mean, this is big time college football. And then basketball, we don't have a basketball team here in the NCAA, but they've hosted here in Jacksonville the men's tournament, the men's college basketball tournament, March Madness, as everyone knows it. Either the quarterfinals or the semifinals or whatever has been held in Jacksonville. So
yeah,
and there's sports here. It's just not, like I was talking about earlier. I come from New York City Metro, so we had two Major League Baseball teams. We've got two major NFL teams. And you were LA. It's the same story. So.
No, yeah.
You had the Dodgers and the Angels. You had you have the
Clippers, which lost recently. Yeah.
Are the Rams back in LA again? I can't keep track of where they are these days.
That's funny. Yes, they are back.
The Rams are back in LA again. Okay,
they're back.
And you had the Raiders for a while, who are now playing in Las Vegas.
Yes, and the Chargers are also in LA now. They betrayed. They left. They left.
Must have gone nuts.
Yeah, they left San Diego for some reason. I never know.
But that's what I'm talking about. So we have two of everything. We're used to two of everything, and we don't have any of that here like that. But.
Yeah. So to get to Jacksonville, you were saying, it's feasible. Like you could go to the sports games that are available.
Oh, it's less than an hour to drive. Yeah. About an hour-ish maximum, depending on where you're going, which event you're attending. So.
No, absolutely.
We do have major concerts here. I don't know if that in the stadium that the Jacksonville Jaguars play in. The Rolling Stones were here. Did one of their last before COVID shut everything down. I think it was 2019. We were on the tour for them, and a lot of other major music productions come through here.
That's great. No, I had no idea. Okay. Yeah. Let's go.
And we have an amphitheater in St. Augustine that seats 40. This is in St. Augustine proper. Seats 4,500 people, and we've had all kinds of acts that come through here. Peter Frampton's been here. Boston's been here. Annie Wilson from Heart was just here a week ago. And they're still performing. Most of them in wheelchairs and crutches, but they're still going.
Yeah,
they can still sing.
Yeah, that's right. That's cool. Sweet, Vince. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this information about St. Augustine. It sounds like overall a wonderful place to live. What's the best way to reach you for people who want to reach out?
So if you're interested in the real estate, I have a website, findstaugustinehomes.net. It's find StAugustinehomes.net. Cool. Pretty cool name, huh? You like that? And then, of course, for me, I do have a Facebook page as well, Vince Fattizzi, you'll find, and Coldwell Banker Premier Properties. And my phone, call or text 904-635-1086, 635-1086, area code 904.
Cool, Vince. Thanks so much. One of these days, I would love if a viewer can document if they actually visit you and you can give them a tour. That would be amazing.
Oh, that would be great, man. We'd love to do it. Yeah. And sometimes people come here and they what, Vince, it's great, it's nice, but it's not really what we thought about, and that's okay. That's okay. But I think when people come here, they're absolutely stunned at the natural beauty, the people. That downtown historic district is phenomenal, and it makes all the difference. People say this is a special place. You can live anywhere, but this is a really unique place to live.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so good. Cool. All right. Till next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.